Hi guys, Mark here. Thank you very much for joining me. In today's video, we're going to be making a small paracord self-defense item. You could call this one a slammer or perhaps a small flail. Make, carry, and use this item in accordance to the local law. Here you can see our project up close. It consists out of a monkey's fist knot, a lanyard knot, the 4-stranded round braid, a series of crown knots, and a diamond knot. For the core of our monkey's fist knot, we're going to be using a 1-inch diameter bearing ball. For the tying process, 2 pieces of paracord 550 are going to be used. The longer piece is 13 feet long, the shorter one is 8 feet long. Finally, scissors and a lighter round off our collection of supplies needed for this project. To begin our project, we're going to cover our bearing ball using a 5-pass monkey's fist knot. You can do this either with a jig or you can tie the knot freehand. Take the longer out of your 2 cords. So this one is 13 feet long. Move 2 to 3 feet into your cord. Then do 5 passes like this. So 5 wraparounds. Then another 5, crossing our initial 5 like this. Now loosen up your second set of 5 turns, creating room for the cord, so for the bearing ball. After inserting your cord, we have another set of turns to do. This time traveling here through the top, then here through the bottom. Again through the top, again through the bottom, making sure that our strands are neatly lined up. So through the top, through the bottom, keeping our strands lined up one next to the other. We have now tied our monkey's fist knot. Our two ends are on the same side. Now we are going to tighten up our knot with the goal of evening out the lengths of our two ends, plus tightening up the knot. So you start at the longer out of your two ends, then go slowly through the knot, tightening it up. We're going to repeat our tightening process at least a few times, so do it slowly and carefully. You need a nice looking, symmetrical monkey's fist knot. So that's one pass of tightening. I'm going to repeat it for a second and maybe a third time, trying to even out the two ends. With the monkey's fist knot done, we continue by tying a knife lanyard knot. Take the left end, make a loop. Take the right end, fold it up, like this. Place the right end under the loop. Pass over the top left strand, under the left end, then weave through these three strands here. So over, under, over. Over, under, over. Creating a Keurig bend. Pull these two strands into the knot and into the ends. Take the top right strand, pass it over this top left strand, then through the center of the Keurig bend. Take this bottom left strand, pass it over this top right strand, again through the center of the Keurig bend. Shape up the knot by squaring it up. Pull on the two ends. So this is the knife lanyard knot. To tighten it up, pull these two strands into the knot, through the knot, and into the ends. We continue our project by braiding about 8 inches of the 4-stranded round braid. To set it up, create a loop, which I usually place onto a door handle. Take your monkey's fist knot, place it into the loop. This creates tension for our braiding. Cross your 2 strands. Take your other cord, which is 8 feet long. Pass it through the opening, making sure that these 2 ends are of equal length. Tighten up, then begin braiding. So 2 strands on the left, 2 on the right. Top left strand passes behind, in between the 2 strands on the right, back to the bottom on the left. Top right strand passes behind, in between the strands on the left, back to the bottom on the right. Again, top left strand, in between the 2 strands on the right, then back to the bottom on the left. Again, top right, passes behind, in between the 2 strands on the left, back to the bottom on the right. So, top left, top right, top left, top right. Braid a length of about 8 inches. After I reach a sufficient length of my braid, I need to lock it into place. So to do this, I'm going to tie a crown knot. First, I spread apart my strands, one to each side. So one towards the top, one towards the bottom, one to the left, one to the right. Then, I tie a counterclockwise crown knot. So you take a strand, pass it counterclockwise over the next strand. Then the next strand passes counterclockwise over the next. Then the next passes counterclockwise over the last strand. Our last strand passes into the loop created by the first strand. Then simply tighten up. so a crown knot. To form the handle, we're going to be tying crown knots around our cord, so the 4-stranded round braid. Line up your strands and tie another crown knot, this time around the cord. Then tighten up. You can continue forming the handle using regular over 1 crown knots. In my case, I'm going to switch to the over 2 crown knot. Again, you line up your strands, take one, pass it counterclockwise over 2. Then the next strand over 2. The next one over 2, reaching our first loop. Then the final strand, again over 2, reaching the second loop. Tighten up, and when you do this correctly, each strand should pass over 2, then under 2. So this one over 2 under 2, this one over 2 under 2, this one over 2 under 2, and this one over 2 under 2. Then tighten up. Continue the rest of the handle using the same knot, so the over 2 crown knot. Always making sure that all of your strands are passing over 2 under 2, then tightening up. It is easy to make a mistake here, so you need to pay attention. And again, for good measure. When you reach a handle length of about 4 inches, it's time to finish it up here at the top with a diamond knot. Spread apart your strands, take one, pass over one, under one, and grab it to keep it out of the way. So I'm holding it next to the braid. Take the next strand, again over one, under one, and grab it. The next one, over one, then under 1, reaching our first loop. Take the last of your strands, pass over 1, under 1, reaching the second loop. So each strand passes over 1, under 1. Then we're going to double up this strand, coming out of the crown knot, traveling down. So to double it up, we take our strand and we pass it over under. The next one here, over under. The next one here, over under. The last one here, over under. To finish up our knot, we're now going to pass each strand over 2, under 2. Each time splitting a pair of parallel strands. So over 2, under 2. Here, over 2, under 2. Here, over 2, under 2. And here, over 2, under 2. This ties our knot. Push it up to the very top of our handle, then tighten it up. You tighten it up by finding a strand coming out of the last crown knot, pull on it, go through the knot, into one of the working ends. Then repeat with the next strand. Again, coming out of the crown knot, going through the knot, into one of the working ends. Then the next strand, this one here, again coming from the crown knot, going through our knot, into the working end. And the last of our strands again, coming out of the crown knot, going through our knot, exiting here at the top into one of the working ends. Repeat your tightening for a second, maybe a third time, then we're going to finish up our project. When the knot is tightened up, trim your ends as close to the knot as possible. Then melt the ends, press them down like this, and move on. To stiffen up the handle, apply some heat or dip your handle into boiling water for about 10 seconds. And that's our project. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope I explained everything clearly enough. Do consider supporting the site on Patreon, and I'll see you next time.